Hello everyone, this is Jaya for the session of the digitalization. Today we are going to discuss about what is digitalization, how it helps in a business life with the situations, scenarios and the example with the interesting case study. First we look about the scenario of digitalization. So there are two friends named Bob and David. In this scenario, Bob is earning less and David is earning more. So the reason behind why David is earning more is the reason that he is doing in a digitalization way. So how he is doing? So he is taking all the approvals, making the bookings, taking all the necessary things to do it online, putting all the document in a digitalization way, and taking what all the requests the customer have. And he's also serving the customer well with a very less time. And that's the reason the customers are appreciating his service and giving him more and more business. So he's earning more than Bob. But whereas where we see Bob is earning very less because he's doing in a traditional way, or we can say it in a physical way. So this is how when he's doing everything in a physical documentation, taking all the requests in a physical way, but it is taking a lot of time to process it. Because in a digitalization way, you can do a fast processing, whereas in a traditional way, it takes a very slow processing and it has a risk of errors, which we always see when we do in a digitalization way. We can have that advantages to rectify it or to cancel it or many other things. But in a physical way, when any everything is drafted or everything is done, we cannot make amends into that. We can't do any rectification to that particular part. So that is why he is not able to keep the customers happy and he is not getting more business because he is struggling to get his business going in a traditional way. So, where in this situation we understand somewhat, we understand the difference between the traditional and the digitalization way. So, what is the difference actually between digitalization way and traditional way? So in digitalization way, we see that it's a less time consumption, less manpower is used, it is a very low costing, faster processing, and the errors of the risk is very low. But in a traditional way, if we see that is double to that part because it's a lot of manpower is used, a lot of time consuming is there because everything you have to find the ways to do it and you have to take a lot of manpower in solving the queries. Plus, the risk of errors is very high, very slow processing when you do these all things when you're trying to get the things done in a proper manner, so it is taking time, but in a traditional way it is taking a lot of time. And the in today's world every person is looking for a faster processing in each and everything, whether it's a document, whether it is a ticket booking, whether it is anything, even if they want to get a credit card from an online banking system, they want that it to be a faster processing. That's what every person in today's world requires it. But if we do it in a traditional way, these factors are there and it is very difficult to run a business because it will always be struggling and it will not keep the consumers happy. So in a business if point of view, if we see digital method is more convenient and it will keep the consumers really very happy to it. Now we come to the slide of what is digitalization. So what do we understand or where do we stand? What is digitalization? So digitalization is comprised of four factors, which is technology, then comes the data, then comes the process, and then comes the change in the organizational chart. So when we talk about technology, when we upgrade all the technologies are used in apps. So whatever we require, whether we are going for a domestic or whether we are going for professional things, so these apps accumulate those technology. It tries to help it well so that the consumer can use those apps and try to make whatever the purchases are there, or if they're using for some other things like reading the books online, reading newspapers online, if they want something creativity to learn something like an art or uh, anything, any language they want to learn. So now the digital way is more convenient for all the people, that they have a number of ways to get the things done on online platform, whether it's regarding the education, regarding the ticket booking of tickets, or anything. So technology plays a very vital role in it. So that becomes really important, where technology plays a vital role. Second comes the data. So whenever we are running a business on an online platform, data is always required, because you have to know whether your product is working in the market or not, whether the consumers are happy with it, or what is the feedback for the particular product or your brand. So this is how you can get that market analysis also online, and you can retrieve these documents online. You can just keep it saved, secured in an online platform, because these things also help to run the business smoothly. Because when you get those analysis, when you get those comparisons, so you can understand where your brand is standing, where is your company is standing. So this is where the technology, their data accumulation comes. So here the automation process also plays a vital role when we talk about, because when we set a process, or when we set a process in a particular business online platform, so it has to get automated, it has to get some changes in the organizational part, because it also gives it changes how to grow the business in a digitalization way. So this is also part of a digital method when we are doing an automation process in a business module, or a tool, or whatever you want to say. So digitalization plays when we want to advertise. It is also a good way when we want to advertise about a product or advertise about a company. So here now is a time where we can just post our things in the social media, where we can grab the attention of a number of consumers. Can we attend those number of consumers in traditional way? No, because we have to send a flyers, or we have to send try to get something, or if we are the customer coming into our shop, we are trying to explain the new product. But in a digital method, we don't have to explain it, because this is, we have already posted, we have given the content, and we have means elaborately given the content, so that the consumer once come to the website, or this advertisement always pop up when the consumer is looking out for something, or he's putting out getting some knowledge about a particular product or anything. So these advertising helps the consumer to get through the product. It grabs the attention of the consumers to know about that particular product. So this is how digitalization plays a very vital role in a growing the business smooth, or it can also helps to grow more and more if we have those steps, those advantages in a business tool. But in a traditional, we don't have these tools to work on it, because we have to do it everything in a physical manner to get the things done. So now we'll understand what is the importance of digitalization in the business tool. So the importance first, we'll take a factor where the most important factor which we count about, that is the risk of errors, which is, if we have the efficiency in that particular process or a business tool, so you will not likely to get any problem in the business tool, because if there are no risk, and the consumer is happy with the process, or the consumer is happy with their interface, there's no problem in it. But if there are risks, if errors are there, if there are glitches, so consumer will not go about that app, or will not visit to the website. This type of things always occur when you uh, do the work in a digital way. These risks are really lower down. But in a traditional way, if we see, or if we think, so the risk of errors is very high. So that's the one point. Second point is, what I understand, when we keep try to when we have the documents on an online platform, whether you can do a market analysis, whether you keep all the feedbacks, whether you keep the insights of all the products, and you're keeping it online, you're keeping it secured. if there is any problem with the system or anything, it crashes or something. So what it happens is you can retrieve it, you can fix it, and that makes your business tool more stronger. But in a traditional way, if these things are kept in a physical manner or in a bunch of pile of papers, and if it is lost, if one paper is lost, your whole thing will not be in a proper shape. So when we are doing in a digital way, this is the one point a secured part comes to it, because it secured all the documents on an online platform. So third thing I would suggest, the most important, which I know, first is the efficiency, second is the secure, third would be, I would suggest that the retention of the consumers. So if I have to take an example of myself, because I always keep purchasing the products online. So that is something where I needed assistance. I required that this, if the product is not available of online, so the best convenient way that I should ask the representative when the product is on that particular website or something like that of assistance I can get, and that makes my shopping really easy, because I really don't want to waste a time to go to different shop, travel to shop and get the things done. But in the view of business and as well the consumers, both the things, if we put it online, the consumers can go online, purchase anything. And the most important thing, if you try to solve the query of the consumers on an online platform, that is a major point where you can retain those customers to get into your website back, retain them, and they'll go for your repeat purchases. Secondly, they will recommend your website or an app to the other people, so that they should come. And this is how your consumers will grow, this is how your business will grow. But if you don't uh, able to solve the query of the consumers, that will be really very difficult for you to grow your business in that particular field. These are the advantages of the digital method where the business have that growth. But when we see in a traditional matter, do we see these advantages that we can go through? Because if we go to a shop to shop travel, so I don't think so. Your query is solved very instantly. That is what all the people require in this era, because they want the instant resolution for their queries, instant things to be done. Whereas in a traditional method, the physical shop doesn't give that and doesn't help in that manner, because everybody has their own space, or the time thing is always there, so it consumes a lot of time for the consumers to get through it. But in an online platform, the consumer is having a very less time and getting their things done instantly. That's a reason, if you retain the customers online, that is the most important way you can grow the business in that particular way. So this is how what we understand, or we can understand where this digitalization stand in a business tool. Because if the digitalization part or a point or a factor is not there, you can't grow that business so smoothly, or neither you can run it, neither you can understand uh, what are the market analysis, anything you can't understand about your product or a brand without a digital method. Now we come to the examples of digitalization. Uh, s- we have learned about the situation scenarios, then we have learned about what is digitalization, then we learned about what is the importance. Now we have come to the slide of the examples of digitalization. So what do we understand by the examples? One of the major examples we can quote, that we can just scan our documents and keep it secured in an online platform. This is the one point which is a very low costing part, and we can just, it's really cheap and we have that things to be done. But when we talk about the email campaigns, that is also very easy, because when you have to provide information about your brand or about your company, Email campaigning is much more easy, much more convenient for the business owners to get through it online to grab more and more attention of the consumers for their product or for their branding or for their company. So, email campaigning is also an important example for digitalization. Third, I would be like, I can say about the digital signature nowadays, because nobody earlier the days we have to go to the office or a bank or anywhere. We have to fill up the forms, we'll wait for the time to come, and it will take like 15, 20 days for the processing. But when we go through um, in an online platform, it becomes really easy when we are doing about it, because we are doing the digital signature online. We are means making the things really easy for them to get through it, and it becomes means you don't have to wait like for 15 to 20 days. The processing begins as soon as you submit that form online. It is like 2 to 3 days processing, and then you get in a 7 to 10 days you're getting a credit card or whatever the document you have requested. So this is how the services is being done on an online platform, which is more convenient for the consumer, because now consumers doesn't want to travel anyway, for even not for the professional things like for the banking part or anything. Everything, if it is in hand, if it is in tips, or if it is in online in a one website, so they can get the easy deals, they can get the knowledge about the product, the experience about the product or anything. So that becomes really bit easy, or a, I can say, convenient for the consumers to go through it. Then we'll try to understand what are the advantages. So advantages, or what we understand the difference, that is that is a saving. It is where we are always looking for a less time consumption, where whatever we are doing on a laptop. If we are sitting in an office and we have to purchase a product or something, we can just go through the website, get through the deals and everything. We can know about that particular product, so that is a much of a time saving instead of going physical way. Secondly, it is a cost saving, which is everybody knows that if you're working on a laptop and you are just uh, looking out all the websites, so you are not going anywhere, and this is how you save your travel expense and everything. So that's the reason I would suggest it would be a cost saving. Accuracy, when you are doing in a digitalization method, so the risk of errors is very low, and if there is an accuracy in the business tool, if there are no errors, you can run it, you can grow your business from time to time, and this makes a really better option in a digital method. Then it comes an easy distribution. So easy distribution, what I have said, whenever we have to give our information to 5 to 10 people or more than that, we can just drop an email and cover the information to all the 15 people. That would be much easier, I would suggest. But when I have to give to the 5 people, that would be a headache for me, that I have to go to individually and give that information. So according to you people, you must be thinking that email distribution would be the much better option in a digitalization method. Then comes the secured. What I have discussed, that when you keep a document on an online platform, it is already secured, and if it gets uh, trash or something, we can retrieve it online, we can fix it, and we get the same document again. But in a physical manner, we don't get it, because when it has happened, you can't go through it. Last but not the least, that is an increase in profits. So what we understand in increase in profits is that when we retain a customer and the person comes back to do the repeat purchases, that is what we are talking about, increase in profit. If we retain those potential customer, if we are helping the queries with the customers intend to come back and do their repeat purchases, and even they would recommend other people for it. So this is how, these are the factors that makes a pure digital method. And if these are factors are important, so it is helpful for business, for everything, but not in a tradition. These factor doesn't comprise in a traditional manner, because these things doesn't comes into traditional way. This is only the part of a digital method where If if these pointers are there, you can do anything, any wonders in business. You can grow your business like anything. So these things are really, really important when you go through online platform. Now we come to the stage of a case study, which I was talking about earlier, that we will be concluding this session with an interesting case study. So my case study is based on a QR code. I'm representing the company of UX Living Lab, where this works on a QR code. When you go to the website UX Living Lab, which I'll be sharing that on your comment section, where the person can easily just register himself. We are a market research consultant, and secondly, when we just register it, we get a unique QR code for ourselves, and we can take whatever the service we require, whatever the product we required, and the most essential or the most important factor, we don't have to stand in a queue. We can get our service instantly. That is what matters nowadays. That is what is important for the consumers, because none of the consumers want to wait in a queue to get through it. So what we do is the main thing. We do a market research. We look out for what are the brand awareness for your particular product or a brand. We can do a research about what are the consumer insights while talking to the consumers on a daily basis to get the information, how they like the product, how they get through the product, what is the feel of the product, and we can help you to get a strategy for your business. If there's something is lacking behind, we can do a strategy part also. But this is all comes when you visit to the website of ours, and then we will try to help you out. So I'll be providing you with the website address. Secondly, I'll can provide you where you can download this QR code from the Android app itself. And the last thing, I would be giving you the calendar invite where you can just pick up any date, any time. And if you want an appointment and if you want to know about a product or a company or something, we can try to give you that instantly. So you don't have to wait for your chance to come. So this is how the QR code plays a very vital role in it. And I know the QR code is really nowadays very cool and trendy thing, because wherever if you go for a payment section, if you just scan it and you just pay the whatever you are purchasing the product, so it's really become easy for you to do it. And I think that's a must. Uh, it's a really trendy thing, because nowadays nobody have the hard cash with them, him or her. Everybody wants, even I also don't carry the cash. I just put up a QR code and just pay the whatever the product I'm purchasing. So it's very good in a payment section, as well as uh, in each and everything, whether you're going for an event, whether you're booking a tickets, or whether you're doing anything. QR code stands where you can just don't have to stand in a queue. You can just grab it your chance, and your work or your service is served instantly. That is what we are talking about, where the QR code is also a vital point in a digitalization. If the QR code there, it is very easy for the consumer to get through the services. This is how it works. So with the case study which I'm going to tell you, that is when we scan this QR code, this is a very small QR code, it's just a image. When we scan this QR code, uh, what the case study is about a business card, where we can just scan the QR code, and how do we get the details and how it helps. So this is a case study which I'm going to demonstrate you. So while scanning this QR code, you will get this type of a page, where when you hand over the business card to any person, and if the QR code is printed in your visiting card, so you don't have to type the entire details on your Android phone. If you scan that QR code, you get all your details on your phone and you just save it. You don't have to type it, because nowadays uh, the people doesn't want to type the name or the number or the email ID. If that is a simple way, that if you scan the QR code and you get all the details on an Android phone, very simple, very easy way. So why the person will go to a traditional way? It will always go to an easiest way that helps you to uh, your time should be saved. It's a very less time consumption. So this is how it also helps the sales thing, sales part also. When you have that QR code, it is not only you can have been printed the contact information, but you can also have the website printed over there in your this QR code. Even you can have that menu, or you can just have the products in that particular QR code. It's a normal image, but you can have these things on a simple business card, which helps you to grow your sales better, where you can just pitch it and the person don't have to go anywhere. Just after scanning that QR code, he will get all the details, whatever he wants on it. So I would recommend to everybody that they should put this QR code on their business card so that they makes it easy for them, for their sales, for their business, for everything, because it's a really very easy way to do their pitching for the sales for the products and whatever they are. So this is a easy way to communicate with the consumers, and now the consumers want that instantly. So this is the one way, which I think is a very cool way to get your consumers, and the consumers can get through you. So this is both good for the business as well as the consumer. So this is a one way you can just try it in your try to put it in your business cards. What I should suggest you should do it, and it is a very easy way to do it. And try to create your QR code, and QR code is the one which is not very difficult part to go through it. So you can, which I am showing the picture, you can just grab all these details on your QR code. You can even grab the details of your brand or your product, whatever you want to pitch. So I would recommend, or I would suggest that you should use this method. So this is what uh, the main interesting part of the QR code, that we can do it on a business card also, because it's a really small thing and the people always keep in pockets, and this is really very easy to get in contact with. So this is what the case study which I'm concluding with, and I think I should request you all that you should just visit the website once and try to get the feel of the website, try to get to know about us. If you want any help or any service, or even you want to update any feedback regarding anything, you can just have to register and get your QR code and get the things done. So don't wait up for your chance for it. I'll be sharing all the links for you so that it becomes really easy for it. And I would suggest that you should visit. You should get to know, because we are the market research consultant and we can help you to build your business, whatever it's lacking or whatever the strategies you required, we can go through it. So this is how digitalization plays, or we can say how the digitalization has grown in a business life. That is a really important thing. Nobody now doesn't take the traditional way. Everybody wants, even it's a small or a big business, everybody wants it to be an online, because more and more products we can do it online. We can get more and more feedback, more and more ratings, more and more experience for that particular. We can get those analysis for our product and business. That is what really important for our business to grow. So this is where I would suggest that it's really very easy to get through digitalization, and we do the innovation, we do the strategies, and this is what an important thing to do with the business when we are running it online platform. We always require innovation, we always require strategies to grow our business more and more. And with the consumers are grown more and more for our website. So this is all we want for us. And think that this is the main thing which we required. So this is the entire session about digitalization and the case study with the QR code. And I would think the QR code, maybe for me, it's a really trendy. So I think For you guys also, I think that would be a better option to get more and more things on your side. Digitally is always like an important tool for a business model, because these things have many advantages rather than in doing in a traditional way. So I'm just summing it up now. And if you like the session, or if you have any comments, or if you have any query, just ping me on my comment box so that I can get back to you. You can just even give, if you want an appointment from us, we can give you the link for the calendar and you just choose for it. So, whatever it is, just ping me on my comment section. Thank you so much for having me for the session. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you so much.